You might have heard the terms canonical AMP, native AMP, or AMP first floating around. And it's time to talk about using AMP as your primary development framework.
Paul, this is great, but you are really cutting it close on your flight to Tokyo.
Yeah, but it's kind of the whole point, the whole theme of the conference. I mean, we need this video before the conference.
You need to get to the conference.
All right, that's cool. I guess we'll just do it live. All right, contrary to popular belief, AMP isn't just a format or channel that somehow is not the web. It's not an SEO thing. It's not a replacement for HTML. It's a web component framework that can and maybe should power your whole site. Reactions to this might go from, "You fool," to, "Yeah, right, you Google monkey," to, "Well, why doesn't it appear in framework comparison tables?" And the latter one is actually an interesting one. Why doesn't it appear next to frameworks like React or Angular or Vue? The first reason is that AMP isn't a JavaScript framework. It's a framework written in JS, but technically you're authoring the content in HTML, so it's an HTML framework. Now, HTML frameworks are nothing new, but people are not really considering them as a serious alternative yet. The second reason is that many compare AMP to RSS, and the media has positioned it as a competitor to certain other big companies' walled garden media formats. Now, that certainly didn't help, but we, the AMP team, have never told the story that way for what it's worth. Now, the web is already a great distribution format, and AMP just improves upon it by further accelerating delivery via AMP caches and, for instance, by inlining CSS. And third, most sites today are built as paired AMP. That's a technique that we allow that connects an existing non-AMP website with the AMP equivalent of the same site. Now, that really lowers the investment initially, but like packing a bag and then forgetting something that you had to pack later, so you have to add a second bag and then travel with 2 bags, it's the same with paired AMP. You now have to maintain 2 versions of the same site, and it was never really meant as an end state to AMP development. So, where does that leave us? In the wrong place. Let's turn around. We want AMP to become a natural choice for modern web development, for everything content related. For you to use AMP as a framework because it truly makes you more productive. Now, we might not be there yet for everything, but it's our core mission. AMP をメインフレームワークとして使うと何がいいか。AMP を使うと、レイアウト、スタイリング、そしてコンテンツ自身の作成に集中することができます。裏で動く JavaScript は我々 AMP チームに任せてください。広報完成を保ちつつ、2週間ごとにアップデートされる最新のライブラリを提供します。ウェブフロントエンド開発は複雑になりすぎています。重要なのは、あなたのユースケースにちょうどいいレベルの抽象度とフレキシビリティを持ったフレームワークを選ぶことです。AMP をフレームワークとして利用すると、あなたのカノニカなページもすべて AMP 化され、真に AMP ファストなサイトになります。そして AMP のみは使うことで、その最適化されたパフォーマンスや UX がデスクトップ、モバイルなどすべてのプラットフォームに展開されます。もちろん今すぐに既存のサイトを AMP 作り直すことができないケースもあるかと思います。ただ AMP は昔と比べて多くの側面で進化を重ねていて、皆さんが何か新しいものを作る際にはきっと役に立つことでしょう。動的にはステートバイングをする AMP エンド、リアルタイムなデータを扱う AMP リスト、そしてカスタム JavaScript を実現する AMP スクリプトがある今、その可能性は無限です。そして新たなガバナンスモデルが確立された今、AMP の未来は真にオープンであり、ウェブを愛する皆さんと共に進化していきます。共に進みましょう。AMP Conf にようこそ。I'm so glad I made it. All right, I really need to relax a little bit now, I think. I need some break here. Now, so please welcome on stage Chris and Yusuke, who are going to be your co-hosts, and will lead you through the 2 days.
Hi. Welcome to AMP Conf. It's really amazing to have you all here. Let us introduce ourselves. 今日は本当にアンプコンフにご来場いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。今日この日のためにですね、我々準備をしてまいりました。本当にこれだけたくさんもうすごいもう全部埋まってますね。もうこれだけたくさんの人たちに来ていただいて本当に嬉しく思ってます。まず最初に2人のちょっと自己紹介をさせていただきます。So, Crystal, you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Crystal, and I am a technical co-writer at Google, specifically on, you guessed it, the AMP project. I'm so excited to be here today and to be able to work on my passion, the web, and a framework that does so well at keeping it open and available for everyone.
そして、私がですね、もう一人の MC のユウスケです。宇都宮でもユウスケでも好きなように、呼んでください。普段はですね、アンプをはじめとするウェブの最新技術をいろんなところでお話しするっていう仕事をしてるんですけど、国内だといろいろなカンファレンスで私がアンプについて話してるのを聞かれた方も中にはいらっしゃるんじゃないかなと思うんですけど、今日はちょっと経路が違います。私なんかより全然ですね、中の人ですね、PM とかエンジニアが今まで公開してなかった最新の情報っていうのを皆さんに直接お届けする、そういった話なので、ぜひとも楽しみにしてください。So, for my talk, I will be speaking mainly in Japanese. So if you could put your headsets on, it's gonna be translated to English. So I'm very excited, Crystal. At the same time, I'm really excited that we are able to host this AMP conference, the annual AMP event here in Tokyo. Yay!
Oh, look, it's me.
ちょっと背景を話すと、2017年から始まったアンプコンフです。一番最初はニューヨークで開催されました。で、そこから大陸を移ってですね、ヨーロッパ、オランダはアムステルダムで去年は開催されました。そして今年は絶対にアジアで開催したいというそんな機運が高まってたんですけど、それが、東京で開催されたということで、私自身はもう本当に東京のオリンピックが決まったよりも全然嬉しく、もう本当に盛り上がっているわけです。はい、ということで、Are you really excited about this?
I could seriously not be more excited. It is not only my first time in Japan, it's my first time in Tokyo. It is my first AMP Conf, and it is my first time moderating. So thank you so much for joining us on all these fantastic firsts. And definitely tweet at me all of your Japan recommendations. I want to know.
It's gonna be your day.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you're wearing a beautiful traditional Japanese yukata, isn't it?
And so are you. And by the way, my first yukata.
Yay! Thank you so much. So we're very honored to wear this outfit. It was just built for this conference. ということでですね、三重に、型紙職人をされているですね、キム兄さんに、今回のこのイベントのためだけに、こちらの衣装を作っていただきました。なのでキム兄さん本当にありがとうございます。本日、
How far could we go? So talked about how fast, we talked about what you could use it for. We've seen lots of really interesting examples that are quite practical and kind of fun. We wanted to see how far it could go too. How far could we push the limits of this technology? So Aaron from the AMP team built an emulator. This emulator runs in AMP script off of the main thread and works. It's playable. It works as you would expect. And it's actually fairly small. Now, this example is not small enough to go on an AMP document. This is invalid AMP to do this, and we think this is beyond the limits of what you would want to do on an AMP document. But it does demonstrate that the technology is capable of doing far, far more than what we thought initially. So when is this going to be available? It's a lot of work. It's very interesting. Well, Malta talked about this earlier, but it's available today. You can try it out now. And I'm very excited to hear your feedback. I think you're probably going to run into things that need to be fixed or need to be addressed. And as a result, we're opening it up today as an origin trial. So you can go to this URL and register yourself for your domain, and we will send you an origin trial token. This will allow you to put AMP script components on pages and try it out. But we really want your feedback. We want to hear what's difficult. We want to hear what's hard. We want to hear what works and what doesn't. And we're looking forward to hearing from you as you try it out. I'm very excited to have been here to talk about AMP script. Thank you so much for having me.
非常に興味深い JavaScript の話だったかなというふうに思います。もうWebSocket が使えるって話もあったんで、もう可能性は無限な気がするんですよね。なのでぜひともですね、この AMP スクリプトを使っていろいろ面白いものを作っていただけたらと思います。一点だけちょっと私訂正させてください。さっきちょっと壇上に上がっていろいろ MC してる時にYahoo Japan が明日の2時半、もう私確実にそれだって言ってたんですけど、実は3時半だっていう話が中の人から話があったので、そこだけちょっと訂正です。
So that was super, super exciting information. JavaScript is finally available in AMP.
Yay.
Woo! All right, so a couple quick things here. On the slide.do, I do not see any questions coming in, guys. And after all of that, there must be so many questions that you want answered. So please start asking them. But also, we can use the app to ask you questions. And we have one up right now, which is if you could describe AMP in one word, what would it be? So please submit that in the slide.do. So coming up next, we're going to have a coffee break. There's going to be coffee available right out there. But before you go, keep in mind, we're going to ding a bell like this.
Come back.
It's hard to do one-handed. And that's your signal to start coming back in and take your seats back here in the main session hall. That way we can keep on time and make sure our live viewers, our live stream viewers can participate as well.
ということで11時まで休憩になりますので、ぜひともデモブースとかチュートリアルブースとかもあるので、ぜひご利用ください。はい、それでは休憩に入ります。
Thank you so much. Oh, please use this time to check out the booths and tutorials as well.
Awesome. So is everyone back in their seats? Was the break good? 先ほどの休憩いかがでしたでしょうか。いろんな人と話をこうする機会になれればいいかなと思ってます。あともう一つ今ちょっとツイッターのトレンドをチェックしてたんですけど、東京のトレンドの入りをしましたということで皆さんありがとうございます。It was hashtag AmpConf was in the Tokyo trend, in the Twitter Tokyo trend. So thank you so much for doing that. 私の話はちょっと短めにしたいと思います。もうどんどん次のセッションに移っていきます。ということでですね、続いてはですね、adapting on no, I'm sorry, it was a different session. 次はですね、please welcome Melissa from Washington Post.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa DePoit, and I am really excited to be here today with you all in Tokyo and on the live.
For everybody. And so, like I said before, we have a booth. Please come and chat with us. We'll be standing over there for the next 2 days. Please sign up to chat with us afterwards. We have a ton of questions, right? We've been sitting in our offices wondering about what frustrates you and how do you work and where do you find answers when you're lost and all these different things. How do you even pick what component you want to use? But also, we want to hear whatever you want to tell us. It's always the stuff that you don't anticipate. It's always the questions that you didn't have that are the most interesting in user experience. So please sign up. Again, this is the bit.ly link again. And I was thinking about how you could sort of identify us at our booth. And I really wanted to make these badges that say, "Do you hate AMP? Tell me why." And my manager didn't really like that idea very much. So yeah, just look for me. And we have some other members of the UX team here. And yeah, thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Andrew. And to reiterate, if you take away anything from this talk, it is to go talk with Andrew and the design team over at the user experience booth. And that is in the room just behind us. It's labeled demos and tutorials. Andrew will be there, so you can Thank you so much, Andrew. And to reiterate, if you take away anything from this talk, it is to go talk with Andrew and the design team over at the user experience booth. And that is in the room just behind us. It's labeled demos and tutorials. Andrew will be there, so you can speak with him face to face. So a couple things before we let you go to lunch. I see some really great questions coming in, but all of them seem to be in English.
そうなんです。そんな感じなんです。さっきのセッションでもありましたけど、本当に対話をしたいというふうに思ってて、いろんな質問をどんどん、入れてほしいなというふうに思ってます。で、それは英語じゃなくても全然いいです。私が作った自負がこうスライデューのやつの見られた方あれだったんですけど、日本語で全然入れてください。アンプ大好きですとかでも全然構いません。なのでどんどん入れていただいて、でそれを我々もチェックします。で、スピーカー とかには、我々の方でそれを翻訳したものを見せたりして、この中から選定したものを TSC のパネルとかで使ったりしますので、ぜひともどしどし、使ってみてください。そんな感じでですね、午前のセッションがこれで終わりに、なります。なので、今から2 hours, right? So we're gonna come back、at 2:30. なので2時半にここに戻ってくるような形で、今からお昼休憩に入ります。ランチは一番奥の場所にですね、ランチボックスを取るところがあるので、ぜひとも使ってください。それ以外にももし人が多くてなかなか場所が取れなかった場合にはオーバーフロー、の部屋もありますので、ぜひともそちらも利用していただきたいですし、デモとかチュートリアルとかぜひとも使ってみてください。So I talked a lot. Should we add anything?
Yep, so just to quickly reiterate in English, lunch is 2 hours long, and if I have learned anything in my brief time in Japan, there is a lot of food. So you do not need to rush over. Please spend the time interacting with each other, going and talking with Andrew at that booth over there, and speaking with all of the AMP core team that's here and excited to learn from you as much as you're here to learn from us. So thank you. Enjoy. See you back here at 2:30 in this room. There's going to be a live coding session. It's going to be awesome.
イエーイ。
Thank you.
じゃあ2時半でよろしくお願いいたします。ありがとうございました。 午後のセッションが始まります。皆さんどうでしょうか、ちゃんとお昼ご飯食べれましたでしょうか。ちょっと1点伺いたいんですけど、アンプチームと誰でもいいので、どんな形でもいいので話したっていう人どのくらいいらっしゃいますでしょうか。Please raise your hand if you talk to the AMP team directly. Oh yeah, we have like what 50% of the people. The other 50%, please leverage the breaks. We'll be more than happy to sync up, meet up with you. ということで、次はですね、 amp.dev live ですね、これライブコーディングになります。皆さんライブコーディングってされたことあるのかちょっと分かんないんですけど、私も結構ライブコーディングしたりするんですけど、成功するものもあれば、失敗するケースも結構あったりするんですね。なんですけど、そのなんかスリルみたいのが多分面白くて、実際にこう、ライブで行われている実装がちゃんと動くのかみたいな、そんな話を、ちゃんと見ていただけると面白いのかなというふうに思います。それではじゃあもう行ってきましょうか。So let's move on to the next session, amp.dev live. Please welcome Crystal and Sebastian.
Jump from page to page, share a story starting from a specific page of interest, create a table of contents, or even create short quizzes. This feature really amps up the interactivity options in stories. So if you're interested in getting started, you can check out the stories landing page on amp.dev. This has documentation for stories as well as story ads. Another great resource to check out is the full stories best practices guide on amp.dev at go.amp.dev/storiesbestpractices. And lastly, if you're here at AmpConf with us today or tomorrow, you can come and check us out in the demos booth or the tutorials room. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
It was amazing.
That was, and John said that was just a few of the things, and I felt like that was just jam-packed full of so many cool features coming to AMP Stories. Personally, I'm so excited about that travel embed in the Google search results. That would have been so useful for my time here at AmpConf.
すごいなと思いました。いろんなユースケースがどんどん増えていくし、今年の後半私これで忙しくなりそうだなってすごく思いました。何かあったらお声掛けください。So, we're gonna have a break.
Yep, so next up is a 30-minute break, but we have a lot more content coming back here at 4:30. So we'll be back in these seats at 4:30, and we'll be ending today with that technical steering committee panel.
次4時半に開始するので30分間の休憩になります。最後の休憩なのでぜひともその時間を使ってですね、いろんな人と話してみてください。よろしくお願いします。
Thank you.
楽しい時間もあっという間に過ぎて最後の休憩をもう終えてしまいました。皆さんいかがでしょうか。これから最後の4セッションをやらせていただきます。最初のものはですね、先ほどあった EC キューブ、日本の事例として、すごく面白いものかなというふうに思うんですけれども、もちろん CMS、日本の事例もありますし、海外の事例もたくさんあります。次はですね、お隣韓国の、カフェ24がそのアンプとの関わりの事例を話していただきます。最近日本にも国内展開もしたりするので、非常に面白い話が聞けるんじゃないかなというふうに思います。Okay, so let's move on to the next session. So the next session will be providing AMP service to tens of thousands of e-commerce sites. Please welcome Jin Yang and Tommy.
Lightning speed of AMP is quite shocking when you consider that I believe in everybody's lifetime in this room, we all experienced dial-up. So I'm very excited to see what the next couple of years will bring. So let's give a big round of applause for our panelists for giving us such great time and great questions. And I want to thank all of the audience members here for submitting such great questions for everyone. And I'm so sorry if we didn't have time to get to yours in today's panel. You may have another chance tomorrow at the Google panel, so please keep submitting questions to that. A quick reminder, we are going to be back in this room tomorrow at 9 a.m. I know we started at 9:30 today, but there's no registration this time. You're going to come right in. And please stick around because just across where we were serving food, there's going to be a fantastic party. And our panelists will all be available for you to speak to and maybe get those questions answered. So thank you so much for coming and giving such a wonderful day one of AmpConf. All right, let's go.